So Bumblebee was exactly what Transformers fans wanted for years. So with the Bay films, it always bothered me how every time we saw a new Decepticon, you automatically get defeated easily. I was thinking like, how they like come back and come back and come back. That's what everything felt too easily in those films. When all the Autobots and Decepticons came on screen, one will destroy one easily, super easy. But here, the Autobots actually look like they're struggling to fight. They're all just not exploding at one time, and there's actually like tactics and fight strategies. Like it looks like how would you see a good fight scene like from a spy film, whatever. The biggest good thing about Bumblebee is that they have the original look from the cartoons, from the original cartoons. It's always a plus one when you do something faithfully accurate. Looking back on this one Michael Bay interview from the first Transformer film, so in this interview he's coming off as this like bootleg Christopher Nolan type kind of guy, saying that the original Transformer look is stupid and cartoonish. Like, you're making a movie about giant robots that are fighting each other. What? The good thing about Travis Knight that he was wanted to do a faithful adaptation, something that he loves from his childhood.
Just didn't understand why I didn't take the cartoon version of the robot design and just make it for the big screen. And I'm like, that's the equivalent of like the Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters, okay? It just, they're so boxy. I would love to do that for the fans. Just show a 35-foot tall, put it in a real environment in a movie, and just show how lame it would look, you know? So,
Just show how lame it would look, you know? So
I was about 9 years old when I first was exposed to the Transformers, and I thought they were completely awesome, unlike anything I ever seen. And part of that was the designs. They were just so simple but bold and rich and compelling. There was no wasted effort. It was all like every line meant something.
And I hope to see him more in the future Transformers films, possibly. Hopefully. Let's see something good. Also, the film is definitely a reboot, because at the end, and it contradicts a lot of other things that happen in the other films. Like, Bumblebee in Bay's films was in World War II. I'll get to that later. But this is basically a reboot. And I also don't know how much detail I can go into this film. It is that basic human finds alien something, and then befriends it, and then he go on and he have shenanigans, and also it's basically like the first, depending on what series of cartoons, Transformers, this is like the first 3 episodes, basically. So our movie opens up on Cybertron. Like I said, this is basically the first episode of every Transformers series. The Autobots have to leave, because the Decepticons are overpowering them. So in this movie, this is where we get our first retcon, when Bee has to be a scout to go to planet Earth and build them a base. See, right there, they never mentioned Sam Wicky's grandfather's glasses, or him being in planet Earth already. See, reboot. Yeah, so the Cybertron scene is amazing, and it's what everyone wanted. You even see some previous Transformers from the original cartoon, and some of the characters from the movie, which introduced me to the original Transformers. I did not watch the original cartoon. I watched the anime ones, the one from the 2000s. I mean, all of them are still better than Michael Bay's Transformers. So Bumblebee lands on Earth, and he runs into the military, and they think he's a threat, so he runs off. And then he changes into a Jeep, which I didn't expect to see. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see him like change into different things. We also saw him on Cybertron as a different car, future robot car. Then he gets in a fight with Blitzwing, or we all thought he was Starscream, but it ends up being Blitzwing. He doesn't have the tank on his back. He could not be Blitzwing, or he could be Blitzwing, or he didn't really mention his name, or Bumblebee didn't really go say like, hey, it's Blitzwing. Oh, I forgot to mention, Bumblebee has his voice still, which is pretty cool to see, or hear. The first beginning of this movie was pretty cool. So Bumblebee does win the fight against Blitzwing, but he also loses his voice in the midst of all this, and also his memory. But good thing his memory scanned a Volkswagen Bug to disguise him. Let's get to our human character now. That's not another Sam Witwicky. He's not screaming, or what Mark Wahlberg was like. This mechanic. So our human character is Charlie Watts. She turned 18. She wants a car. She's also a bit of an outcast from her family and the rest of the people around her. And she finds Bumblebee, and she wants to, like, well, Bumblebee's not working that great at this point. She asks the mechanic store owner if she can fix that Volkswagen, she'll clean the toilets, clean the shop. But he ends up giving the Volkswagen to her free of charge, because it was a hunk of junk, and it's probably gonna explode on her. Also, with this being like a tight John Hughes kind of movie, coming of age story, This feels like it could be the Edge of 17 sequel, the Edge of 18, because Charlie watches 18 now. Which is a really funny thing to think about, because in that movie, that's also a Haley Steinfeld movie. Nadine was like saying that she likes old music, probably that she was listening to 80s music, which Charlie from this movie is in the 80s. Weird connection there. It can't be a sequel unless Nadine traveled back in time. So it is the Edge of 18, probably. So she takes Bumblebee back to her place, or garage, and he transforms in front of her. And then she also gives him the name Bumblebee.
Do you speak? You sound like a little bumblebee.
Which doesn't feel too like cartoonish, like doesn't feel too CW cartoonish. You know how like in like these DC shows where like they'll say something funny, like you run fast in the Flash, I call you the Flash. It's been a while since I watched a pilot for the Flash, but it probably went like that. Another movie I'm talking about later on had that same CW cheesy feeling to it. This here doesn't feel that too cheesy, because I think I saw in one of the trailers that Charlie said that you sound like a little bumblebee, which doesn't come off as too cheesy for me, or probably someone else probably, but I felt like it was fine. Now let me go back to some Michael Bay ranting. So if it was Michael Bay again, he'll probably make Steinfeld look overly attractive like he did with Megan Fox. And I was wondering if with Travis Knight with the Mean Girls, because those Mean Girls look overly attractive, like how he will have his female characters look. I wonder if that's something that he was thinking about, like mocking him almost, like if you have over attractive girls, they're obviously the Mean Girls. So she also has that neighbor friend that she has, not too much from him, like he didn't do that much. He didn't like help out. Like I'm glad that none of the human characters destroyed a robot in here. Like how in Michael Bay film, he had some real human characters destroy some Decepticons. I'm glad that when John Cena was in that helicopter, he did not end up destroying that one Decepticon. I'll get to them a little bit, but yeah. And her family wasn't like Sam's Wickwicky's family. How they were overly annoying. Before I watched Bumblebee, I watched the original Transformers to see how it holds up. It's garbage. It totally is garbage. I have no nostalgia for that garbage movie. It's so bad. It's almost exhausting to watch one of those movies. It made me upset, but this movie made me happy. Also, I watched Kubo and the Two Strings before it as well, because Travis Knight made that movie as well. So what Travis Knight does fight styles in Kubo and the Two Strings with a lot of like anime-ish. I was a little expecting something like that, but we didn't end up having that, which I was kind of glad, because I watched it right before Bumblebee. Well, Bumblebee we got more of a wrestling type style, which was really great. So I was expecting something like anime-ish style with the fight sequences, but I'm glad I did it, I'm glad that it wasn't too like how I felt was not overly hyped. What I was expecting some kind of like anime fight style, so it wasn't too much of a hype idea of mine, like how some people have hype ideas or whatever, predictions about some things, and they overanalyze it or over expect something, which I'm glad was in that minimum of speculating something for this film. So the Decepticons are like basically some average villains. So there's the one that has the tactics and ideas and strategizing, which is the female Transformer. So yeah, we have female Transformers now. Like we're not have like for 2 seconds like how in the third one or the second one, what Bay did that was wrong. Because there are female Transformers. We also had RC in the beginning, and probably we're gonna see her again, hopefully. And then the other villain of the other Decepticons that wants to blow stuff up, which is Michael Bay probably. They were also entertaining. Dropkick and Shatter, yeah, they were actual villains. They had strategies, and like they're trying to track down Bumblebee, that sort of thing, and they end up tricking the humans, saying that they're good guys, and they're tracking down this fugitive. Shatter is like the one that was wanting to work with humans, and Dropkick just wants to make them pop. He does that a few times. I do like when we first see them, like they have one of the other Autobots like defeated a cliff jumper, and like seeing cliff jumper seemed like an actual soldier, like how like he's not saying a word of what the Autobots' plans are, just saying his name over and over again. I do think it's one part so hilarious, how when like Shatter and Dropkick have the access to all their satellites, and one human guys says is like an interconnected wide web, and also like they're in Area 7, whatever it was, Sector 7. Yeah, that's what it's called. Remember how Sector 7 had Megatron in their base of, what was it, like the waterfall or whatever? You know, if their leader was right there, they'll know and they'll take him and release him. So, again, this is definitely a reboot. If he was right there, they'll just take him. And lastly, the last character I want to talk about is John Cena's character. He's pretty funny and and also a basic soldier. There was an article that says that he was going to be G.I. Joe. I don't know if he is. He does look like G.I. Joe, how G.I. Joe should have looked like. I don't care because I didn't grow up with G.I. Joe. I watched Transformers, Power Rangers, and other things, Star Wars, so I don't really care. Maybe he would be. I'll watch it. His character was pretty fun. He has this one line that does feel a bit like, I wouldn't say fan service. I would say like on the nose, like what. So he says like we shouldn't trust these guys. They sound like the bad guys. The Decepticons sound like they're evil. It felt like in The Force Awakens how Han Solo shot Chewie's gun. Kind of. It felt like that almost to me, but I don't know if anyone else felt like that. So the military ends up fighting Bumblebee. Well, I'm not talking. I could talk about all their shenanigans that he did, like Bumblebee, like him messing up the house, or yeah, but it's just shenanigans. It's just like having a good time. You should only transform in front of me. Just those kind of things. Like there is the distress signal from Optimus Prime. He's not making dumb speeches in this movie, but yeah, the military does find him, and there is some more cool action scenes with the Decepticons, which it's just so cool. Like, and they're triple changers, and it's just so cool to like see like just them coming down from an airplane and a helicopter changing into cars was pretty cool. So the military end up capturing him, and Charlie sees a news report that they're having something by the dock. That's when she figured out, hey, that's where they're keeping him there. So let's go. When Dropkick was interrogating Bumblebee, I was like, he's Blitzwing ripped out his voice. If he knew about that, then he'll like, say something. But he's just like pounding him until like something happens, until that message from Optimus Prime says that like they're coming here. Like how if that didn't pop out and play, or Bumblebee did that? I don't know what came first, or what happened first. Did he knock that one part of his piece off? I don't know. It's simple. It just happened. Well, the Decepticons have a plan to like message the Autobots for a trap. So then they leave, and then they beat Bumblebee down some more, and then he's like dead until Charlie shocks him a little bit, like almost like the clear thing with a tase gun, whatever she had. So he comes alive and also remembers, and like the military is also trying to destroy him as well. And then I like when he destroys the military, his eyes turn red. It's also kind of scary like that. So then he has a mission to stop them, because that was his mission in the first place, to come to Earth, build a base. If he listens to Charlie and then didn't do anything, Autobots will have a not so warm welcome if he actually listened to her. You are our last hope, B217. Yeah, this is where we get that big old wrestling brawl. All this fight sequence are brutal. This is what we wanted, and you can see what's happening, and it's just exciting. Everything's in frame. Everything is just like not like scattering about. Actually see like actual fights, and I hope seeing more of this. Come on, do a sequel. And Charlie also helps out with trying to get that, I want to say Energon battery. I think it probably is Energon with the signal that's going out there. He ends up destroying Dropkick, and then a much more brutal fight with Shatter or Shattershot. He ends up defeating her as well. And also there was this weird quirk that all these 80 things must have, like, if they don't do anymore. Like Charlie's thing was like diving. Like she doesn't want to dive anymore after her father died. Yeah, this basically like this one human has this sad story and stuff like that. A troubled past, like a John Hughes movie or anything else. I think he's also in some of the Transformers stories probably too. Some of them probably, or yeah, something like that. She does dive anyway and like tries to like, hey Bumblebee, you're awake or whatever. Are you awake? Hey Bumblebee, are you awake? Something like that. So Bumblebee saves the day, and when Bumblebee and her are on that cliff, saying their goodbyes, she sees a Camaro and changes it into a Camaro. You could have changed it to a Camaro all the time. That's pretty cool. It's like, you don't have to do that, Travis. We know we're not. We know this is a soft reboot or a real reboot in general. You don't have to change him to Camaro to make it line up with that dumb movie. If you do make a sequel, you just change him back into a bug. And we do see a truck that looks like Optimus Prime. So the end credits of this movie this is definitely a reboot because it has like the Autobots coming to Earth, and you see 7 of them. What the Bay films had like 4. Yeah, this does not line up correctly. This is a definitely last one, a reboot. You can bring Charlie back. I like the character. I like Haley Steinfeld as well. So like, hey, she can be useful to like get through small spaces. Also, Bumblebee likes watching The Breakfast Club. There's a lot of good Easter eggs, a lot of good '80s Easter eggs. Here, you hear Cheers. You hear the Cheers theme when the Decepticons are listening to the radio on Earth, and Cliff Jumper is telling his name a lot, and you hear the Cheers say, "I'm not gonna sing it probably, but yeah, I kind of got that kind of joke because he's saying his name a lot, and like, whatever." There's a lot of other things. There's that lame song what people use for a meme for like a leak trailer. Also, Michael Bay is executive producer. I wondered if he made like, you made Travis Knight made Steinfeld wear like tight shorts, whatever, because she is wearing some tight shorts. It could be just the character that likes wearing tight shorts, but you do see her wear and sometimes in the shot. Which, he probably the only thing that Michael Bay probably like the only thing I think of Michael Bay said that is to say that have some rare shots of the main lead, which is probably stupid to do. So this is just a me thing, but Charlie's character just reminds me of Lori from Transformers Cybertron because like she had that punkish look to it. Just a me thing, so it's whatever. One last thing to mention that when Charlie was teaching him like helps you learn how know what to say, kind of true. I guess that helped him like learn how to speak through the radio, which because like if they have a sequel and this is like kind of a soft reboot or a reboot in general, they can just fix his voice. Like Ratchet can fix his voice. He can just fix his voice and just don't worry about the Bay films at all. It's great. It's a great movie. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I know that this is high, but maybe I think it's because of the lack of like goodness from the previous Transformers movies, which could be a bad thing if I'll see if I regret it later on, like putting it at a high score like that. It's a good thing right now, but like maybe later I'll change my mind. Who knows, really? But I feel like putting it on my top 10 list, but not too high. Maybe at number 10, number 9. Maybe the second time I put a Haley Steinfeld movie on my list. So, what did you think of Bumblebee? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think it was just fine? Do you still like the Bay filmers? What's wrong with you? So, please, give me a comment down below, give me a like, it helps me out, and subscribe for more. I've been Matt for one, and see you later, moviegoers. Oh, wait, also, at Regal, when I was leaving the theater, they gave us surveys. Like, oh, my brother picked one first, and then like, I since he was doing a survey, I might as well do one too. One of the questions was the Bumblebee movie better than previous Transformers movies? And I said yes, because it is. It really is.